So we're gonna try something new, something different, something fun. So I'm a big fan of like Sajam and Lord Knight's like little streaming talk shows. I know that normally those things are done live, but it's 1 in the morning, so just want to do it in a way where you can see my beautiful face. Okay, so Rivals 2 has a lot of cosmetics. Like, it will take you at least some combination of 1,000 hours of grinding and $200 investment amount of cosmetics, which is great news for folks like me who have a lot of things to earn and have a reason to keep playing the games beyond simply improving. But for a player who's just getting started, it can feel a bit daunting, especially since cosmetics keep getting added at a pace faster than most people can unlock them. In a live service type game, not everyone's goal should be to unlock every single item in the game, sure, but at least players should feel that acquiring a sizable pool of cosmetics that they want should be and feel achievable. I mean, due to the way that the coin shop works, players are incentivized to purchase things that they only just kind of maybe want, because it could be a while before that cosmetic appears again in the coin shop, and thinning out the pool means the likelihood of the items that they really want will appear in their coin shop. Your typical casual player might only play a few hours a week, and at the end of the week, well, maybe they can afford an emote if they're lucky. As someone who's grinded out the entire coin shop, I can vouch for the fairness of the coin payout per time investment. I can earn around 5,000 coins an hour, meaning it takes 10 hours of play to unlock a common skin, 20 hours to unlock a rare skin, 40 hours to unlock a stage skin. I think this is a great pace to set for a dedicated player, but can feel insurmountable for a casual player who can only play maybe 5 hours a week. Sure, it makes sense that the more dedicated player gets to earn more things, but that doesn't mean I want to gatekeep less dedicated players from having a chance to get those things. In the latest patch notes, the developers posted a link asking players for feedback about the state of the game and what kind of content they want added to the future. Well, my personal selection went to co-op versus AI modes, so I can play this game online with my beginner friends and still earn rewards at a reasonable pace. Another exciting option they offered as a consideration were daily and weekly missions. There hasn't been a lot of chatter about this feature, but the few folks who did speak up were either very excited for a chance to earn even more rewards, or they were vehemently against the idea. Both sides have perfectly valid concerns when it comes to implementing dailies or weeklies. They've both been used as FOMO tactics to get players to keep coming back even when they don't want to. They've been used as a way to cap players' progression. So before we talk about dailies and rivals, let's talk about the concept of dailies themselves. I'll be using the terms dailies, weeklies, missions, quests, challenges interchangeably, as they're all an objective that must be completed within a certain amount of time, then takes another amount of time to become available again. First and foremost, we have to call dailies what they are. They are a player retention mechanic that incentivizes players to log in for a reason other than to just play the game for the fun of it. Almost every single online game has a form of dailies because they really are just that effective at getting players to log in and play. But the way they are implemented from game to game can differ so greatly, and usually telling someone that a game they're interested in playing has dailies can be seen as a negative. But why is that? Why is a bonus reward for completing limited tasks considered so anti-consumer? To find the answer, we have to talk about the two main aspects of dailies: what a daily wants you to do, and what it gives you for completing it. There are two types of daily rewards: a reward of limited or very scarce resource, or a bonus reward of an unlimited resource. In Fortnite, quests typically reward you huge chunks of Battle Pass experience, but the rate at which you earn that experience is reasonable even if you've already completed all your dailies or are ignoring them completely. Meanwhile, Multiverse's Battle Pass was, at one point, earned almost exclusively from dailies. You did earn a small amount just by playing, and they did increase the amount eventually, but there was a point early on in the game's lifespan where missing a day of missions puts you permanently behind other players, and continuing to do so puts you at risk of not completing the battle pass at all. Though this sort of progression isn't unique to Multiversus, and a lot of live service games will prefer this type of progression because it gives them total control of how much progress players can make in a day, they do so at the cost of giving players the freedom to progress at their own pace. Where dailies in Fortnite exist to close the gap between casual and hardcore, and we know this is true because I can log in during the last week or two of the season to finish the battle pass despite not having touched it the entire season. These sorts of dailies are made specifically to gate the most dedicated players from getting content too fast. Fortnite doesn't care if its most dedicated players finish the battle pass in a week. they're going to keep playing. It doesn't matter. But Multiversus did and made sure they couldn't, so they had to keep coming back, and basically gated their entire casual player base from completing the Battle Pass if they didn't become hardcore. So then, apart from what you can get from a daily, the other side of a daily is what it's asking you to do. There are two types of daily objectives. Generic objectives you'll complete just by playing the game normally, and objectives that force you to play the games in a way you might not play it otherwise. In your usual PvP game, a generic objective will probably be something like get a certain number of eliminations or deal a certain number of damage. But a more specific objective, say play 3 games as a healer, means that players who don't normally play healer will have to change the way they play the game in order to complete their dailies. Sometimes this isn't so egregious. It may not be a big deal to play a healer for a few games, even if it means losing because you lack the experience. Or heck, you can even just play like an off healer and you'll probably be fine. But it can become frustrating when that person doesn't know how to play healer and the mission is now heal 50,000 HP in a single match 3 times. Now that player has to reach a certain level of skill for an archetype they don't enjoy playing and have to drag their entire team down during the process. And I know people are gonna say, well, the developers want you to play the other parts of the game that you may not interact with. Let me choose to do that. If I like your game enough, I'm gonna go out and try the other parts of it. But also, if I just spend my entire life playing a single role and I enjoy it for 1,000 hours in your game, just let me do that. The absolute worst case I ever had of this was in a game I used to play called Knockout City, right before it shut down. There was a weekly mission where you had to win a match on a specific map without jumping. Keep in mind, stages are randomly selected by the server, and this is a team game. So without even challenging me to change my strategy, the game simply demanded I play worse, drag my team down with me the entire time, and expect them to carry me. A good example would be, imagine if you were playing Overwatch and you had a mission where you had to win 3 games as Tracer, but you weren't allowed to teleport. That's the same thing. The game isn't around for a myriad of reasons, including reasons I talked about here. But, like, there's still plenty of games that have these sort of objectives, and it drives me nuts. Like, just let me play the game the way I want to play it. This is speculation, but I can only assume it's from developers trying to copy Fortnite, as usual. Fortnite will have weeklies such as get 4 eliminations with an SMG, or collect the 8 pages across the map, or get 4 seconds of airtime in a vehicle. The sorts of objectives you might find in like a Grand Theft Auto game that is fun for a casual player to do when they get bored of playing traditional Fortnite, while also providing PvP fodder for those that still are playing traditional Fortnite. Like, it works fantastic for the type of game that Fortnite is, but it doesn't translate well to games with a higher emphasis on teamwork, combat, and a smaller, more focused game type, like a fighting game, like a team fighting game especially. But they keep trying to do it. Now, take a game that has those stupidly specific objectives that make you play the game in a way you don't want to, require that it be completed in a specific amount of time, or else you can never catch up to the rest of the players, and make it the only way to reasonably obtain the game's main reward, and you've got yourself, well, most live service games, and the reason most people hate dailies. Imagine if you had a daily to queue into a 1v1 and you had to get 3 Maple Tether kill confirms. Like, what percentage of the player base even knows how to do those? Literally just Maple players, and not even all the Maple players. Now you only have 24 hours to do that, along with 3 other highly specific dailies, or else you miss out on a limited time Bucks reward or a skin or a palette. It's these sorts of expectations that make me understand why people generally don't like dailies and don't want them in Rivals 2, but we can do better than the industry standard. Our goal should be then to create a daily/weekly that is meant to be a sort of catch-up mechanic for casuals, a bonus for dedicated players, not be so overbearing that it's the only reasonable way to earn currency, and make it simple enough for everyone to understand, and not to be so intrusive so you can continue to play the game in the way that you already do. You're just incentivized to play it a little more. I propose Rivals 2's dailies and weeklies just be a sort of weekly challenge, and I'll put like a graphic or something right here that I whip up really quick in MS Paint or something. That's right, I make all my YouTube assets in MS Paint. So in this weekly challenge, every week players will be challenged to deal a total of 4,000% damage in online queues, whether that be in 1v1, 2v2, free-for-all, or ranked. Every 1,000 damage dealt, the player is rewarded with 5,000 coins and an event level for whatever pass they're currently leveling. but at 4,000% total damage dealt, they are given bucks instead of coins. Then the first 500% damage dealt per day is doubled, meaning that in order to complete the weekly challenge with minimum time investment, a player can log in once a day, deal at least 500% damage, which should only take 2 or 3 games max, for 4 days a week, and no streak required. A casual player who only plays for an hour a day, 4 days in a week, 4 weeks in a month, will hit level 16 in that month's event pass, which is high enough level to obtain the skin of each pass. The system will also help new players catch up at a reasonable pace, because there's now 7 months worth of event passes to catch up on. I think it's fair to give them a shot to catch up. Of course, you'd still be able to complete the weekly challenge in a single day if you choose to. In fact, I mean, most of us are just going to do that in an hour or two, which would make it unobtrusive and just give players like us a bonus of 15,000 coins, 4 event levels, and 50 bucks a week. The point of the claim button is under the assumption that rewards will still have to be manually claimed, much like the event passes require, and they allow the player to choose when to claim, which means that you can decide which event you want to have active before you go and claim them. The hope would be that by the time the next weekly challenge rolls around, it would auto-claim the previous one, at the very least. And then missing out on a week of rewards is not really that big of a deal, since it's only like the equivalent of 22,000 coins. The point of the weekly challenge is to be a large payout to beginners while being unobtrusive to the dedicated player base. It's a very achievable goal that doesn't put too much pressure on the new player to perform, while still requesting an honest effort. It allows the new player to go into the shop early and buy something up cool immediately, without overloading them with too many coins, trivializing the whole thing. I've played with plenty of friends who were new to the game, played with them for like a solid hour or two, and I could feel their disappointment when they entered the coin shop and they realized they couldn't even afford a color palette. And of course, the numbers are just my own recommendations to empower those sorts of purchases, so if a system like this is actually implemented, it'd be up to the devs to decide how much effort is required for how much payout, and may not even include a bucks reward. That's just wishful thinking. So, hope you all enjoyed that. Just wanted to try to get something out quick, because I wanted to get my thoughts out on the idea. If it isn't obvious, I think it's a great idea. I think we should definitely have dailies in Rivals 2. Very simple dailies, just so casual players have a way to actually buy things from the coin shop without having to put in as many hours as we have. So I'm going to be starting work next week. I'm going to give myself some time to adjust, see how I feel about it. The next 2 videos I want to do are going to be kind of big productions, bigger than I'm used to making. So I'm going to write up some scripts and probably reach out to other content creators, see if it's something we can collaborate on. I'll keep y'all updated. I posted up a graphic earlier showing like the 4 kinds of dailies. I had a really hard time filling out some of these, so if you know games that fit into these categories, I'd love to hear what kind of games you played, what their battle passes were like, what their dailies were like. What are your thoughts on how dailies should be implemented in Rivals? Have you done the survey yet? What do you think of that? The content that's coming up. If you haven't taken the survey, you definitely should take it. Highly recommend it. Lots of cool things to talk about in the survey. Maybe next stream we can go ahead and just have like a segment where we just go through the survey again and talk about it. Another comment I'd really like to hear from people in regard to my next video that's coming out, I want to hear what frustrates you about this game. When you are playing it, what specific things, what mechanics, I know there's probably going to be a lot of people saying floor hugging, that sort of thing. Do you get frustrated with how difficult baby dashes are? That you don't know what you should be doing in neutral? Or how to edge guard. Those sorts of things, let me know what frustrates you. I am compiling them for a major video coming up. And until then, I will scrawl you later. And don't forget to use code BIRDGUY in the shop.